It's been on the events calendar. So, yes, a lot of people might just be catching the replay, and that is perfect. It's going to
Yes,
be an
and
awesome session.
and for those who are here, he's one of one, my man Dietz. Welcome to the building. Dietz, in one word, what are you feeling or experiencing right now?
Do I just shout it out to the mountaintops, or do I
Just
put
shout
it
it
in the
out.
chat?
Shout
I
it
feel
out.
fucking awesome, man. This is great. This is a great surprise. I'm psyched.
Yes, indeed, man. This is the benefit of just continuing to show up. Before we jump in, I want to give a shout out. Give a shout out to there's Deuce in the building. Looking very sharp, looking like a professional leadership coach that he is. I like the look. Welcome back to school and all that. And I was just giving a shout out to the community because have been on the message boards. People have been sharing their wins. People showing up to the squads. You two showing up live to this, and then all the people watching the replays. We're on fire. And I know August is a month I usually take off, so I took off most of the month of August, but had these calls on board. So I know that that's a month where people end the year, travel, get ready for school, but there's been people who've just been engaged throughout. So I just acknowledge you all. And I'm excited. We're heading now, or we're in the last quarter of 2025. And we gave some thought to today's masterclass. Jess asked me a question that really spurred this masterclass today. And actually, it's been a question some clients have asked me over the last month. So, as we head into this fourth quarter, what I've experienced, if you're a coach, right? If you're a coach out there, my experience is this has been always the most productive and prosperous quarter of the year. I think if you're a business owner, same thing. There's something about September, and that's why I usually take off August to prepare for the last quarter. It's something about people think, oh, New Year's, New Year's, we're going to set it off. And my experience has been when people get to it is usually September. And I think my theory is, especially in America, you've been trained like around September is when you get back to school, where you buckle down and you get ready. And I think it's just inherently ingrained. So there's clients out there for you. If you're a coach, your business, if you're running a business, this is the time. This is the time to take what you've learned, what you've put into as systems, and start executing. And for us to execute, today's master class. Anything you want to say, Jess? Before I go in, I'm so excited.
No, I'm just excited for today's call. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I'm thinking with the last quarter in mind, and you being game changers. Today's masterclass we're going to call the mindset and being of the world's best performers. And what spurred today's class was a question clients have asked me over the last month, especially, and just asked the other day or today, and it was I knew we were going in this direction. What are the qualities, Devin? This is what I get a lot. Like, what are the qualities of your highest performing clients? Like the ones that both, and I'm not just talking about goal line stuff like money. I've had the privilege of coaching, the Olympics last year, the Olympic team, some of the highest elite performers in baseball and basketball, CEOs, billionaires, actors, movie directors. And I say that to say there's common themes with all of them. Some of the greatest coaches in the world I've coached. And there's common themes. And all of you have some version of it. But what we want to do today is see where you're operating on 10 out of 10 in these areas. And then also where, we need to upgrade and where we need to take, maybe you're operating at a 6 out of 10. And I took some time to write down not only the qualities, but bring back some of the offensive lines. I don't know if you guys remember the offensive lines. Do you remember that? So I think today's masterclass, as we look at creating the most prosperous and joyful quarter four of 2025, we're going to line up what are the things you're going to run into, but also what are the qualities that are going to allow you to overcome any of these offensive lines. Okay. And when I think of like the pro athletes, the CEOs, the ones who not only are outwardly successful, but I mean, really have found joy and peace in their personal life, in their relationships, in their spiritual practice. And as a byproduct of that, they're making as much money as they want. They have a business they love. When I think about that, what separates them from others, from good, isn't talent. What separates them is really two things. It's their mindset and their way of being. Mind controls emotions, emotions control behaviors, behaviors control results. So if you remember that mindset, so thoughts, emotions, behaviors, results. When you put those things together, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, you have a way of being. So that's what separates. And I'm going to share some of the offensive lines that keep most of us stuck, that you guys are going to hear again, because repetition is going to be helpful. And then I'm going to give you the qualities that's going to propel you to be the best in the world or best for the world moving forward. So today, what you're going to do is you're going to leave with at least one being shift or one mindset shift and one concrete action that you're going to take into the next quarter in the next 7 days. Okay? How's that sound? All right. So I want you to really look inside for this question, whether you're watching on replay or live, okay? And really be honest here. Why did you show up? You three here today. Why did you show up? See, because I asked that question intentionally because the one thing that I know is if we have an intentional practice and we understand why we're showing up, then we're going to have a different listening. So let's hear it in the chat box. Why did you show up today? Now, Greg, I hope you pulled over. We don't want any accidents. I know you're a game changer, but we don't want that because I'm committed to me to grow and learn really good. All right. Now here's this, and I'll wait for yours, Greg. I know you're one hand on the wheel. You're not driving though. That's good. Here's the other question. What did you secretly hope would change in your life or work as a result of showing up for this hour? Get all I could. Good job, Greg. So what did you secretly hope changes in your life or your work as a result of you showing up committed for this hour? I'm giving you questions that I want you to remember and take as part of your journaling. Like you wake up, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like Steve Jobs used to ask in the mirror every day. What do I hope secretly changes in my life or business as a result of me showing up to this? Put your answer in the chat box. Unknown good, that I would finance to an unknown good. And you're pointing to something here. All of your answers are pointing to some of the qualities that I see in the highest performers in the world. Good. All right. So Greg and Dietz, you guys can put your answers in there when you get a chance. Get something to add to today. Good. Just get one thing. All right. Now, the offensive lines. Most people are running into these invisible blockers, right? They're stopping you. It's the offensive lines in our lives, right? And there's two fears, FEAR. You guys remember the two fears? Fuck everything and run, face everything and rise, right? Now, underneath these fears, there's a couple of fears that we all have, including the most elite athletes, CEOs in the world that I've experienced. And these are the two fears that they overcome underneath the fears. One is a fear of not being enough. And two is a fear of worrying what other people think. There's a looking good component that kind of runs the show for, I would say, a majority of people that I've seen, including the most elite people. So you may want to look at like what's running the show underneath for you. Maybe you put a little checkbox. Is it like there's a little bit I'm not enough, I'll be figured out, right? Like, you know, I'm not as good as they say, or is there a version of like I'm worried what people think? I want to look good, not look bad. So that's the two fear. That's the fear under. That's one of the offensive lines that we let one of these fears say F everything and run because I don't feel like enough. It's not happening fast enough, or I'm worried what people think. I can't look messy here. So in the chat box, I'm going to ask y'all a lot of questions because we only got 3 people, so I can read them all. Which fear speaks louder in your life right now? What's the fear that speaks the loudest in your life right now? Be honest. What people think. Good, Greg. Good. I'm not good enough, Deets. Okay. Not know enough. Perfect. All right. So you just want to keep that in mind because we're just going to go through them, get accurate on the offensive lines. And then I'm giving you mindset and ways of being that you're going to take on in an action that you're going to see to overcome these all the time. This will be foolproof. Once this kicks in, we're going to replace that and create a new pathway, a neural pathway. So this stuff doesn't keep coming up. There's not enough, not knowing enough, what people think. All right. The second offensive line is a chapter of my old book called Work-Life Balance BS. It's a myth. I don't want work-life balance. What I found from the most, and we'll talk about it, is this obsession that it's work-life alignment or integration. Like I'd rather be aligned than balanced. And what that means is if I'm up to something big, there's certain times like the jazz quartet where certain instruments play the solo. Like my family knows, like I got family time. I'm locked in the summer. I'm usually slow-mo. But when it's time, like I'm going to be spending more time with my business and that's going to play the solo for a minute. So you got to look at what would alignment look like in your world. For me, it's seasons. Like this is seasons. This is like this is enrollment season. This is high level service all year round. But like this is the season, the last quarter in which I'm full speed ahead. Okay, the third offensive line is what we call competing commitments. So, we say we want to build this powerful, business practice, but and we know we need a block of time in the middle of the day, but we don't move the Pilates class or the time on the boat that interferes with that. So we're not putting like consistent time and attention into what we say is most important. Like, most people know me, like I've created a life where I don't work after 3, and that's intentional. I mean, if clients need late session, I don't work after 3 because I have a son who's going through high school, who's in junior high, that plays a lot of sports. And my commitment is I make it to almost every game that he plays, even practices when he wants me there, right? And so there's no competing commitment with work. All right, number 3, you guys got that, right? Competing commitments. So the question for you here is, what are you unconsciously committed to that's blocking your stated goals? What are you unconsciously committed to? Not looking bad. I'm unconsciously committed to not putting a honest day work in. I'm unconsciously committed to Netflix. I'm unconsciously committed to Ruffles instead of my health. I'm unconsciously committed to wine. What is it? What are you guys unconsciously committed to that's blocking your goals? Last two, someday thinking, right? Delusion of later. It's all a myth. It's never going to happen someday. So the question for you is, what's the one thing you keep pushing to someday that actually needs to start today? That's a really good question. What's the one thing that you keep pushing to someday that actually needs to start today? Got it? Okay. And last is obligations. I don't do obligations. I have to say yes to this, blah, 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 blah. Only invitations. Obligations are if when I say no, it changes how you feel about me. It was never an invitation. It was an obligation. So now that we see, I had to put that up just in front of you so you can see what blocks most people. It's these areas. The fears, 2 fears, right? Am I enough? What people think. Trying to balance life. 2, competing commitments. 3, people pleasing. 4, someday thinking. 5, obligations. 6. These are the things that keep you from being elite. So now that you see that what blocks most people, this is not what blocks the greatest in the world. We're going to look at the qualities of my top clients and we're going to practice them. But this is what they practice to put them at the top 1%. Okay? Start with one of my newest clients. The first quality, a way of being, I'm going to call burn the fucking ships. It's after 11. I'm cursing. Burn the fucking ships, AKA commitment. Highly committed clients. I have a client, he runs in his industry, he's the top in his industry. He took an industry, the roofing industry, where people thought it was like, tough work, just door to door, and recreated it, build the biggest community out of it, successful, just serving the hell out of people. And his commitment is high level of commitment. And remember, commitment comes before confidence. The application in your world right now is stop dabbling. That's all good, Coach B. So I met him at like a network event, like a Genius. I was at the Genius Network. I met him and we connected and we had a conversation. He loved the conversation. We had an amazing conversation, had a second one. He said, well, what does it look like to work with you? Successful. Him and his wife run this business. Tell him, you guys know what it takes to work with me. 200K, 100K minimum. And he was like, I'm going to be committed to working with you. He said, we've never as a business paid this much out all at once. Right? But he didn't say that as like a hesitation. He said, so I need to just talk to my wife who also runs the business. Can I talk to my wife? Not talk to my wife like to get, see, some people say, I got to talk to the family to get an approval. No, he didn't talk about for an approval. He said, just to let her know what we're doing. So there was no dabbling. It was a commitment fully. He called me back within 2 hours because he had another meeting and said, I'm in, send me an invoice. How quick can we start? There was no ships that got in his way. Oh, well, you know, we got this thing coming and we got this invoice coming. It's maybe the timing. There was no, he burned the ships. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. Where a few months in, he's already said, paid itself up 10 times. What he's creating is miraculous. So number one is commitment. Burn the effing ships. And your question is, where are you dabbling instead of being fully committed? Take a minute. Where are you dabbling instead of being fully committed? Second question here. What would burning the ships look like for you? This one I want you to answer in the chat box, all three of you. I want to hear what that means. What would burning the ships look like for you? Get some accountability. Actually, you know what? I'm taking you off mute. Just kill me, but just say it. What would burning the ships look like for you? Come on, get off mute. Let's hear you. Coach B.
Less procrastination,
Good.
more focus.
Can I upgrade that?
Yes.
How about no procrastination? Like eliminate it from your world. I used to procrastinate. It's not a real thing. It's like, but I used to say I procrastinated with dishes in the sink. It's before I met Jess. We had dishwasher in Florida. But like, all right. And then I made it like, oh, I can just wait. Right. And then I made a commitment to myself. If it takes less than 2 minutes, I do it immediately. Right. There's no more dishes. Takes 2 minutes. That's it. All right. Good. No more procrastination. Deets, what do you got?
It's been an overthinking thing. And Jess shared a cool little challenge for me, and that's when it really became obvious to me, because I was sitting there, I found myself, oh shit, I'm overthinking this one thing, and now it's in motion right now. So the overthinking part.
Good. Burn the fucking ships. Stop overthinking. Greg.
Trying to find solutions, in particular to ways for taking care of my son.
Yeah.
Like just do what it needs to take to support, my wife and support me, so that I continue growing.
And when you step into that, this whole world will open up to you. You're going to feel an energy, like it's going to feel like, oh, I'm taking on too much. No, when you burn the bridges and there's no alternatives, you actually get freedom. It's when you're on the fence dabbling that exhausts you. It's exhausting. What should I do? I'm going to try to do this. No, burn a bridge, make a commitment, and see how that works out. It's amazing. Another client, first female billionaire in her industry, comes to Game Changer. Wasn't planning on it. Brought her to the hot seat. had a transformation. She says at the end of Game Changer, I'm hiring you. Can we talk tomorrow? This is Sunday. I said, I don't work the day after Game Changer. I'll meet you Tuesday. We could talk. Tuesday we could talk. She says, I am going to hire you. What are the options? At the time I had 100K, 200K. She says, I feel like where I'm at on my level, I'm not going to get, I'm going to the top option. Right? All in, committed, no dabbling. 3 years in, and all kinds of stuff has opened up in the world, and we're working on all kinds of levels. No dabbling, commitment, burn the bridges, number one. The second mindset, the second way of being that I noticed in all of the most elite performers that I work with, integrity. Their audios match their videos. They're not perfect. They do fall short. We all fall short. Their words match their actions. Every one of them, I can trust them to do what they say they're going to do. I have an apprentice for a couple years now who, when I ask her to do an assignment, it's done within a day. And with integrity, it's all about consistency. Like, am I consistently doing what I say I'm going to do to others and to myself? Can you count on me? And can I count on me? These clients aren't making excuses for being late. They're not doing that. They're not canceling sessions unless it's a very emergency, a big emergency. It's they do what they say they're going to do, and they be who they say they're going to be. When they fall short, they clean up their mess immediately. Hey, Devin, I made a mess. How can I clean it up? Boom, we're clean. We create a new agreement. It's rare. I have clients who work with me for years who have never been late and never missed a session, ever. So integrity. Third way of being. These are all the ones that are going to have you go past these offensive lines. Courage. They all do it afraid. There's not one person I've ever worked with who wasn't afraid to move forward with something. I have a client right now who was a top 10 draft pick in his sport. They worked him, and he was the next coming in his sport. They called him the next Derek Jeter. And he comes up, and, you know, in baseball, they put you in AAA first to get the reps because, you know, and they put you in AAA, and goes AAA. He's killing in AAA. And after a year, they're moving. Now they want to move him up. They literally say in articles, he's the next Derek Jeter. That's a big bar. Over the next year and a half, every time he's been pulled up, within a week, he's gotten some kind of real big injury, hamstring, knee, thing. So for the last year and a half, he's been going in and out of rehab, AA, AAA, AAA. And he stopped listening to the papers and tweet, you know, like, oh, he's had to get that out of his mind. And every time I've coached him through, there was a point where he was afraid, like, hey, man, this is, and he did it afraid. He practiced courage. He was highly coachable, which is another one I'll talk about later. And came back to the big leagues in the last week, got his first hit, double, and he's in the starting lineup. There's a year and a half after going back and forth and back and forth. He's in the starting lineup. This kid had all the excuses in the world to, like, oh, man, I don't know. Is this going to work? I mean, he wouldn't go up a week or two without getting hurt. but he had the courage and he took action in the presence of fear. I said, you can only control the controllables. Get to rehab, do the work. And the number one work that he did, it wasn't the physical work, it was his mindset over the next year and a half. That's all we did. So what bold move are you avoiding? That was a bold move for him to say, I'm going to stay committed and consider myself the most elite player in Major League Baseball. He'd been calling himself that for the last year and a half before he even made it back on the field. So what's the bold move that you've been avoiding or one action that you can take this week that you've been letting excuses getting in the way? Where can you do it afraid? All right, next one. At some point, the most elite athletes, CEOs, coaches, business owners, stop caring how they look. They get freedom from reputation management. Some of us, as we said earlier in the chat, is like, you're so worried about what people think. You know, in this world of social media, everybody wants to produce this polished product. Like, oh, this is the image. It's bullshit. I'm not against creating brands and all that, but if you're not being real, it's only a marketing scheme. I had a client for a number of years who's a coach. When she started working with me, she had been an influencer before. A lot of people, a lot of polish image, really great. And what I loved about her is like she was willing to put that away to share kind of her messiness. And as a result, she filled her groups. She was filling everything because people didn't want to just see the finished product. They want to see kind of the messiness. So if you want a life of full aliveness, the trade-off for a life of full aliveness is messiness. Are you willing to look messy? Are you willing to look like you don't have it all together, that you don't have all the answers, all the questions? Certain times people, as I go to some high quality functions with people who are well known or seen on TV, and they ask me questions, and my best answer sometimes is, I have no idea. And they respect that. They're like, hey, do you think you can help me and my team? And I look at them, I have no idea. How would I know that? I haven't even talked to you about your team. Respectfully. They appreciate that. I don't need to have it all together. So not looking good, or, you know, worried about looking good and not looking bad. We got to get rid of this. 2 more. The next one is every person who I've seen create, and the Olympic team is a good example. Some of these business owners I work with are great examples. They're highly coachable. They're highly coachable and curious. They always want to learn. I think Deet said this earlier, like learning. One of you said earlier. It's like elite are hungry to be challenged, pushed, and learn from it. So in the box, just put a number on a scale of 1 to 10. Be honest, how coachable are you right now? Like, how coachable are you? Deet says 10. Good. Coach B, Greg, 9, 10. Good. So here's the question. Pick one person this week who you can ask for feedback. Who's one person you can ask for feedback from this week? Write their name down and reach out. Be open. You could get coachable is not just with your coach. Coachable is the willingness to learn from whoever's around you or who you can tap into. The last quality and way of being of the most elite performers. And when I say performers, I'm not talking just about outward goal line stuff. I'm talking about the inner game as well. Joy, peace, peace of mind, relationships. The last piece is they have high level of trust and relationships. They have deep connections. That's it. They do not have surface level relationships with people. The ultimate currency that you have on this planet Earth is the impact you make on other people. The ultimate currency that you have on this earth is the impact you make on other people. And from that impact, you can double down on trust. You can add trust. You can withdraw trust. You can cash in on trust. These are all things that trust and relationships and connection do. Sometimes you got to add to it. Sometimes you got to take some trust out. And sometimes you got to cash in on it. Like Game Changers get sold out nowadays, not because I'm like in a coaching school that teaches me enrollment anymore. Like I don't need to be enrolling all the time. The way they get filled simply and easily now is because I cash in on trust. People have been there, they experience it, right? And I say, hey, you've experienced it. I don't need to sell it. Who do you love enough to put in that room or have be in that room? And people will send people constantly. We had someone just now, it's like, we're sending 18 people to LA. We're almost sold out and we didn't even announce it yet, LA. So currency is the impact you have, and deep connections are important. You don't need thousands of people. You need, start with 10. You get 100 people who you have connections with, you'll never have to, you'd be a millionaire in a minute. Okay. So from here, what's the one relationship you've been neglecting that if you nurtured it, it could change everything? I had Steve Chandler was always my coach, and I worked with another coach for a couple years. And then when I stopped, it was a couple months where I was like, okay, where am I going to go? Because I always want to have a coach. And all right, Greg, take care, man. But I realized that Steve Chandler's my guy. So instead of waiting a couple months and figuring out, I just right away, I was like, I need to reach out, and because there's a high level of trust, and get started right away. Because I don't want to go an extended period of time without being coached. I just don't. Not because I need coaching. I don't really need coach because I want it. I know the impact it has on me internally and externally. All right. So we're going to do an integration exercise. So a blank piece of paper, line right down the middle. I love lines down the middle of papers. On the left side, you're going to put offensive lines. All right. Fears, just write fears. That could be not being enough, worrying what other people think. Number 2, work-life balance, BS. Number 3, competing commitments. Jessica put it in the chat box or just listen. Number 4 could be people-pleasing. People-pleasing. You're saying yes when you need to say no. I don't know if I said that earlier. People-pleasing. Number 5 is someday thinking. And number 6 is obligations. On the right side of the paper, you're going to write the qualities of elite performers. Commitment, burn the fucking ships. Integrity, audio matches video. Courage, do it afraid. Four, not looking good. Freedom basically from reputation management. 5, coaching and curiosity. They're always learning. And 6 is trust and relationships, deep connection. All right, so Dietz, what's your number 1 blocker? If you look at the left side.
I said it earlier, and that's just I think of ideas and then I sit with them too long.
Yep. So circle that. It's like procrastination, overthinking, fear. If I'm sitting, usually there's fear behind that. Why am I sitting instead of acting? Coach B, what's the number 1 blocker for you? Come off mute, Coach B.
I think Mars is just feeling inadequate, feeling like I don't know enough.
Yep. Good. Really good. Circle that. And it's not true. It's just you have a thought that it's true. So you're running your life based on an unquestioned belief. Once you question that belief, you're like, man, how could you not be enough and be in a community like this? You know what it takes to be in a community like this? You were some of the best in the world. You can see that, right, Coach B? And some of the best in the world includes you. We get on calls. I have guest speakers. Every time you open the mouth, I listen. At least 3 times this year, the guest speaker said, that's a really great question. That's not someone who does not smart enough, not good enough. That's powerful. See, because the evidence, I look for the evidence. The evidence isn't backing up your claim. So let's go to the right side. The elite qualities, if you were going to counteract that, circle the 1 quality that you need to double down and start practicing. Yep. What is it?
For me, it would be integrity.
Integrity. Circle it, practice it.
I mean, I think I'm pretty good with keeping my word, but when I feel like I don't know something, I kind of stop short.
That's right. So can I do it afraid? That you might have integrity / courage. Like when I don't know something, can I do it afraid? Can I do it without knowing and be a little messy? Be willing to be not knowing. Dietz?
Burning the boats is just jumping out at me.
Burn the fucking boats, bro.
Because everything else, I feel like I've got bits of everything. And I look back at that I've done and the that I've had to do that I've made. Most people would not do what I have done. And I'm coachable. But I don't know that I've ever completely burned the boats. I don't know that I've ever done that. Or there's times where I just need to do it.
And remember the circle at Game Changer. Where do all the breakthroughs happen? Where in the area called what you don't know, you don't know. So when you burn the boats, when you do it afraid, you actually enter the world of what I don't know how it's going to work out, but there's no other alternative. And that's where the greatest transformation, shifts, success happens. That's what the elite performers know. That I don't know the outcome of this. She didn't know paying $200K. He didn't know making his biggest check, but they just knew they had to do it. They just knew what I don't know what I don't know. burn the boats. So here's where we bring it together. The promise earlier was at least one. What's one concrete action that you're going to take in the next 7 days to move from blocker to your chosen quality? So to move from the offensive line that's blocking you to the chosen quality. What's the one concrete action you're going to take in the next 7 days? I had a client was building her coaching practice. Okay. Was in the process. Hey, people, you know how it is that I get a few people, they're not paying me my highest thing, right? Just burn the boat and say, you know what? One concrete action I'm going to take. I know how powerful the Game Changer is. I don't have anything like Game Changer, right? I'm going to commit to enrolling the most people ever in Game Changer. Within the next couple of weeks, this is few years ago, she got 10 people enrolled, fully enrolled in Game Changer, right? No benefit to her, just serving clients. Within a week after Game Changer, 4 of those clients came back and said, I'm going to work with you. She didn't plan this, 4 of her highest paying clients. To this day, she continues to enroll the most people in the Game Changer because she knows it's reciprocity. But she was doing it before her whole practice was filled. Burned the boats, got committed, and then it just came back in tenfold. Now, she won't work with anybody unless they go to Game Changer first. So that's concrete action. Huh?
Do you feel like people do that because it helps with the language and the concept? Like when the coach is speaking to them, right? Because it's a new language, it's a new way of being, it's a new way of seeing things.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we're aliens talking to ordinary.
Yeah, of course, language creates culture, but what it also does is for the person building, instead of waiting,
people.
Yeah. So yes, and it's like instead of waiting for someday, one day when my practice filled, I'll be able to send people. What she did was like, I'm going to burn the boats. I know how powerful it is. And the other impact is that sometimes something that's proven is easier to enroll someone in than your own. So she got better as an enroller by enrolling people in the Game Changer. And then on top of it, she got the reciprocity of people like, you love me enough to send me this, I'm going to work with you. So it's reciprocity, and it's not waiting for someday. She went into what she didn't know. She didn't know these clients would come back and say, I'm going to work with you now. Now she doesn't send anybody without it. All right. So you have one concrete action. If you follow through with that action, how will your life look different in the next 30 days? If you follow through every day with that one action, how will your life look different in the next 30 days? Can you see it? Good. What I want you to remember, you Game Changers know you have a jersey that you leave the Game Changer with. Here's the one thing I can promise you. It's less about talent, and it's definitely not luck. It's about who you're going to choose to be and what you practice. That's what I've noticed with the most elite performers. If it's integrity, if it's burning the boat, it's like, I'm looking every day to burn this boat now. I'm just going into unknown. I'm committing, going all in. Every big commitment I've stepped into, whether coaching or otherwise, I wasn't ready for. I wasn't ready financially. I wasn't ready. Like, I just wasn't ready until it's like, I looked at it like when I used to work in corporate, right? They give me a promotion. I never was ready for the job they promoted me to. Like, they promoted me, right? And then I had to step up my way of being in game to work my way into that job. But I wasn't ready. It was like, I deserved, like, I was still raw when they would promote me. And I just looked at it the same way. Like, I don't have this, but I'm gonna create a way to get this. Because I'm gonna have to raise my standards for me to be in this. So a guy who like took a loan to go coach, right? You think I took anything for granted when I went to coaching sessions? I was getting everything I could. So I'm very excited about this with you guys. This is what you want to take. If you just take in that one quality and you practice it over 30 days, maybe you go for the next 3 months for the quarter. After each 30 days, you look at those qualities and say, am I continuing this quality or is there another quality I need to take? And now you'd have 3 qualities or 1 quality for the next 3 months or 3 qualities once a month to finish out this year. I promise you, December will look different. Even September is going to look different if you practice this quality every day. So, I'm up for air. This is going to be a quick word or a sentence. Maybe we'll include Jess in this. In a word or a sentence. Well, let's start with this. We'll do a word or a sentence in a minute. We said next 7 days. What's the one action you're going to take in the next 24 hours to prove that you're committed to what you say you're committed to? What's the one action you're going to do in the next 24 hours? This is where I get people to squirm. That means 11:54 by 11:54 tomorrow. Deets.
Well, I'm running on this thing that just popped in, and I'm creating a women's group based off the success that I've had with the Mind Gym. And so my commitment in the next 24 hours is to record a video, a promotional video, just to begin getting this ball rolling and getting the word out there.
Good. Coach B said, review my email list. Good. And then you want an action based on the review. You don't want to just review it. I want to review it with the intention to what?
One, I guess, to let people know what I'm up to, and do an invite, like a 15-minute invite call, maybe a 45-minute invite call.
Good. I would get rid of the maybe. Okay, good. All right, so we come to that time. In a word or a sentence, slow it down, get present, slow it down. Breathe in. We talked about a lot. We've been together 55 minutes, 56 minutes. In a word or sentence, what's been the most valuable thing that you've heard, thought, or experienced in our time together? Who would like to go first?
I think for me, just looking at how my made-up story is playing a part in how I'm being.
Yeah. It's not true. It's just an unquestioned story. And imagine you've done all this with it. Now imagine just getting rid of it.
True. Didn't think about it that way. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's like kind of like, thank you. It's like Jehovah's Witness. Thank you for coming. We're good. Unless you're Jehovah's Witness, I'll take it. But it's like, hey, thank you for coming. You don't bother me. It's like, nah, I'm okay.
Mhm.
It's like a backseat driver. Hey, thank you for telling me how to drive. I don't need your help no more. That's that unquestioned belief. You can let it go.
That's it.
All right. Deets.
There's so much, but burning the ships. I just wrote freedom in big letters, and that's what's screaming off the page as I'm looking through all my notes. And it's just the freedom of the confines of the bullshit that I got in my mind that holds me back. That's all it is. And I know this, but I got to hear it and I got to see it.
That is. And practice it.
Practice it. Yes.
Yeah. Good job. Jess?
I mean, I don't curse and burn the effing boats and stay connected. Stay connected to who you love, what you love, and why you do what you do.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're in September. We have 5 spots left for the Game Changer New York. I imagine. Oh, 2. We only have 2 spots left for the game. See, between the call and now, it went from 3 to 2. From 5 to 2. So 2 left. Game Changer. And then we have New York City. Guest speaker will be announced in the next week or so. We're excited. And look, use your Game Changer squads. Use your coaches if you're in the movement. And let's keep moving this thing forward. I love you guys. Great job today on the call. Those who are tuning in, let's go Dolphins this week. I love y'all. Peace.